There's a right and a wrong way to love somebody. You love, you love me right. All right. I'm not a singer, but I just felt the need to say that. So, who is that? Is it Guy? Guy sung that song best. There is truly a right way and a wrong way to love somebody. And we're going to touch on that a little bit in this particular video. And the reason why we are having so many issues in the realms of relationship and love is because many of us have held on for dear life the wrong way to love a person. We have taken Hollywood's romanticized idea of love and we ran with it. And in this particular kind of love, it doesn't allow a person to be their authentic self. The Hollywood romanticized type of love says that you have to perform in this particular kind of way in order to make me feel secure in who I am. Never mind how this particular type of performance is making you feel. It's all about how I feel. The love in which we have been governing ourselves in relationships is selfish. And that in itself is not love. It is what it is. It's selfish. Jesus came to teach us how to be selfless in love. This is why he said to love your neighbor as you love yourself. Now, if you really love yourself, you're going to be kind to yourself, okay? You're not going to apply pressure where it's not wanted. You're going to allow yourself to be free. You're not going to allow others to control you or manipulate you. You understand? Yet, this is what we do to other people, and then we label it as being love. That's not love. So, I'm going to attempt to do a few series in the topic of love, because I feel like if we really were able to grasp what love really is, then it'll kind of soften the blow a little bit. But in order for us to really comprehend what love is, we have to do some inner work within ourselves. Okay. And at some point, I will go off into what this inner work entails. This is something that you have to do on your own. Nobody can do this for you. You understand? This requires you going within and facing your shadow self. Okay? And you have to be alone, but I digress. I don't want to get off this subject. So, love basically what is it doesn't entail attachments. When you really love a person, or love in its truest form or pure form, it's not about attachment. It is actually detached. However, and this detachment does not mean that you don't care for a person. It's just that you allow a person to be free. You allow a person to be who they are. You allow a person to grow. You understand? So you don't try to control the outcome. Let's go with that. When you love a person from its pure form or in its pure form, you're not trying to control an outcome. You're not saying, by me loving this person, I know it's going to lead to marriage, or it's going to lead to some type of commitment, or it's going to lead to some type of future with this person. When you're loving someone in this pure form, you don't have these expectations. You don't have these type of demands. You're just allowing this energy to flow freely. Whatever happens, it happens. And if it doesn't happen, it's still okay. You understand? It's not going to take anything away from me. You understand what that means? So we as beings, we have to come to grips with this false idea that we have been fed through media, entertainment, whatever, religion, whatever the case is, that says that in order for you to love me, I have to have ownership over you. I have to control you. And you can't be with anyone else. You can only be with me. You can only have eyes for me. And when it comes, especially with men, when it comes to men, a lot of men feel suppressed. This is why men run away from marriage. This is why men run away from relationships. From a subconscious level, they understand this. You understand? But they don't fully get the gist of it, but they don't really understand the depths of it. So, and some women may go through this too. Love in itself is an energy. Okay? Love is like that of a fire. Love is a fire. And fire is very powerful. And if you try to close fire in a room, it's going to implode. Because love, it in fire, it cannot be contained. You can't contain it. You can't hold it. Because if you do, it's going to cause destruction. You understand? So this is what's taking place in a lot of men, because they are being met by demands and expectations. You see what I'm saying? Manipulation in some cases. And their need to perform, or they feel as if they have to perform. And love, when men love, they love deep. They love very deep. They love from a different, I'm gonna say, a different energetic field than we as women love. I still got some more digging to do on that topic, so I won't go too deep into it. But when a man feels suppressed, when he feels like he has to go against his true nature as a man, then his ability to love a person or woman properly is diminished. That's why you have men who are in these marriages, in these relationships, they're stepping out. Because being in a marriage, being in a committed relationship, and I never thought in a million years that I would be saying this and actually agreeing with it. But I understand, how this works. But being in a marriage and a commitment, it says that you can only be with me and nobody else. You can only have eyes for me and nobody else. Okay? You can only have a desire and a passion and a thirst for me and nobody else. That's not love. That's control. Okay. So when men are forced to go against their natural nature, okay, it's natural for men to desire multiple. And even some women, we desire multiple. But that doesn't say that, okay, because you desire this, you have to act on it. Of course, you have to have some type of self-control. You just can't go about, this all willy-nilly. You have to use wisdom in this. But only when a person feels suppressed is when that desire, that urge increases. But if a man is in a relationship and he feels like he's not bound by rules and expectations and demands, his chances of wanting to explore all these different avenues, and when I say avenues, I mean women, is less likely because he can be free. If I choose to do this, I can. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I am understanding when it comes from a male's perspective. Now, if any men come across this video, if I'm wrong, please correct me if I'm wrong. I have no problem with that. So we have to understand how love truly operates in its pure form. Okay? We're not saying that, okay, because I love you again, I'm expecting my love for you or our love for one another to lead to something or to lead somewhere. Just love them because you have an overflow, you have an abundance within yourself. Because we get into these relationships, we get into these marriages with these demands, with these expectations, not understanding how we as beings are. Like, say for instance, you hear this all the time when people divorce. Well, what happened? Why did you divorce? Oh, we just kind of grew apart. You see what I'm saying? And that's a natural thing. That's okay. You understand that people are going to come and they're going to go. And when they go, you're letting them go freely without any judgment, without any condemnation. You understand? And you have to understand that people, they grow apart. The person that you were when you met this individual is not going to be the same person 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now. They're going to change. They're going to evolve. Their desires, their passions, their things that motivates them is going to change. And within this change, you may not be the person that's going to fix or that's going to fit the next level in which they're trying to achieve in their life. So therefore, they have to move on. But if you're holding on to this concept of love as being, you're just with me and only me until the day we die, you are suppressing a person's evolution as well as yourself, because you're forcing yourself to be in a situation because this is what society says you have to do. That is wrong. That is not how we are as beings, as spiritual beings. We are spiritual beings having a humanistic experience. That's who we are. We are pure energy, and energy cannot be contained, because if it's contained, it's going to implode and it's going to destroy everything around it. That is why we're having issues in these relationships, because we're trying to contain this energy that society says we ought to contain. That's not natural. It's not natural. So In order for us, again, to really get to understand what love really is and how to flow in it freely, or allow this love energy to flow freely, we have got to do the inner work. Because most of the times when we love another, we are expecting this person to fulfill needs within ourselves that we have not come to understand, or we have not tapped into. That's essentially what's going on. You don't need another person to make you feel whole. You understand? You have to learn how to be whole within yourself. And being whole within yourself, that takes pressure off of another person and allow them to be who they are. So, this is going to conclude this video on love. And until the next one,